all this, so now we are actually live. So if you don't want to be on camera, go ahead and turn it off. You don't have to be on camera, it's not a requirement. If you don't want to be seen on the replays. We were just kind of catching up and getting an update on Arlo's condition and you know, Devora was concerned about monopolizing the group's energy, but we realized, we remembered the mantra of as we heal others, we are healing ourselves or meeting our healing needs. So there's no monopolizing at all. It's all healing. And as long as we are relishing and embracing and emitting that healing energy, that is all that matters. And it will find where it needs to go and it will heal where it needs to go, and we may need to develop a different focus. If someone else does have a more pressing concern, they can take that infinity thread and grab it for that more pressing concern and strengthen it a little more
Mhm.
and emphasize on that and charge that. So there's no shortage. We as we know, this is now the infinite energy within us that we can share as much as we want, and it's not going to empty because it's constantly replenishing itself. So this is all good stuff. This is all just all love, and that's what matters. And the more we let that flow without trying to direct it or put it in a box or force it into some way, we just allow it to be. It's going to go and it's going to expand and it's going to flourish. So that's a good thing to keep in mind here, and work on and grow on and remind ourselves of. So thank you all. Thank you, Devora, and we'll continue. And so I do like the idea of healing Jera Benema because they've been through a lot. They have been through a lot. And like you said, if there's not a healing energy or a healing vibration and within the direct impact, we've talked about our areas of direct impact, right? And if the two people that are closest to him and in directly contact with Arlo are sucking down that energy or not allowing that healing environment to take place, it makes it harder. And healing has to work harder to do what it needs to do. So I
And
like
I,
that focus.
I just want to clarify. Neither one of them would intentionally suck down the energy of
No.
healing towards their son. But when you're in such a wounding place and it's gone on for so long now, for almost 3 years, that you don't even realize how destroyed your nest has become. You're just hanging on for dear life, and you don't realize that that nest of peace and within your own self, within your relationship, within your home, within it just your own mind. You don't realize how shattered it is because you're just hanging on from moment to moment. And I know that's what they're doing. And I just want to send so much love and healing to them individually, as a couple, as a family. It's just sometimes we have to uphold others in places that they don't even know they need to be upheld, or they don't acknowledge that they need to be upheld yet. I know certainly in my own life that's been the case.
Yeah, definitely. And you inject the chaos of the world right now and how that will pull us out, if you're doing focus healing and then the world keeps throwing these left hooks at you and coming at you from behind and you're trying to ward that off. But again, that is the hope of what this energy work is doing. That is what the hope of creating this infinite vortex and having the unlimited supply of energy in you, because then now you can create these barriers. And maybe even part of some of the stuff today, I can show you like um, ways to patch your energetic field up to not allow for those to directly impact you as much, um,
Hmm.
and the ways of doing that, it's my Sifu taught me it's a bubble technique. It's the bubble technique, and I don't know if we brought those up before, but envisioning when these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts, or these destructive thoughts, or these feelings enter our minds, we encapsulate them in a bubble. Then, and let's make it a beautiful purple, whatever beautiful bubble that represents love, unity, all that. So as it's in the bubble, it starts to transform and transmute the energy. But then we allow that energy and we allow it to just drift off away from us. And once it's a safe distance, we pop the bubble and allow that energy to return to wherever it came from. But then we also observe where it left our energetic field from, because that's where there's a hole in our field. Then we now know, oh, it left right here. Well, I'm going to patch up right here so nothing can now re-enter. That energy cannot re-enter through that same entry point. And we effectively block and enhance our energetic field. And the more we do that, and the more we start to practice that, and the more that regularly becomes, then those all those patches are going to go, and you're going to have this amazing field of energy around you that everything just deflects. None of these outside forces now can get to you,
Mhm.
so you can now become more focused on what you need to heal.
Well, and
Oh, go ahead. No.
I no, I was just going to say I think it's interesting you use the word patch because that's what came to me when I got the news about him actually having another leak was that, oh, well, we just need a patch. This thing just needs a patch on it. And I was like, I'm not sure how to affect that, but I know that I could see his intestines and the tear, and then there's just patch forming over the tear. It was interesting. I could just see it really, really clearly. And the other point I was going to bring up is the one blessing in all of this is they are so sequestered that they don't see any news, they don't see any television, they don't see any media. They probably don't even know who was elected president. I mean, I mean, they don't know anything about what's going on in the world or the wars or the chaos or the division out there because they're just so sequestered in this room with him without any outside stimulation at all, which in some ways is a really good thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's got to be some bliss in that, right? Ignorance is bliss in a way if you don't know. And that's also kind of some of that ideology that we've talked about in the past is if we're so focused on what's happening over here, even though we can't impact it or do anything about it, we get sucked into that. And then that becomes our stress, and we start to take on that, and then it absorbs into us. And all of a sudden we're stressed and angst, and we don't know why. Well, it's because we've absorbed or we've interjected ourselves into an energy that one is not ours, and two, that we have no control over. So it becomes chaos in our environment because we don't have any way to do anything about it. And it just sucks the life out of us. It drains us down. It lowers our vibration. And this is why I've really tried to start tapping out and for a while tapping out news and sharing these things and really getting sucked into a lot of that stuff because all it did was distract me and distract me from my focus. Um, and those distractions, anything that's a distraction takes us away from being able to focus on healing, focus on love, focus on the path forward, focus on expansion. It's now we're dedicating that energy to fighting this and fighting it in a successful way because there's nothing we can impact here. But if we instead just focus and keep the love and be love and emit love, and then naturally those love things are going to radiate out change and we're becoming that blueprint. We're like, no, we're not going to be sucked down into your lower vibrational thoughts. We're not going to be sucked down into these things. We're not going to divide ourselves. We're no longer going to play these games. We're no longer going to let you manipulate us. We now experience freedom. We experience liberation from those things because those things now can't affect us. It doesn't mean we turn a blind eye to them. It doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge existence of them, but we know that focusing and drawing our energy into them just lowers our energy or sucks us into that vibrational field. So instead, we rise ourselves up, raise the vibration. So then when those things come to us, it has to match it. It has to raise up to us. The world has to raise to our vibration. It has to raise up to meet us because the only way you can lower the vibration is if you allow it. Because naturally, a lower vibration doesn't win out over a higher vibration. It's scientifically proven. We've talked about it with tuning forks, all the different things. A higher vibration will always win out, and the lower vibration will eventually match up to the higher vibration unless you allow it, unless you lower your vibration by sucking yourself into those vibrational worlds and those voids and those things that suck us down and distract us. So, another thing, I've been working I've started some shaman training with my oldest son. And the book we are currently working through is the shaman's book the shaman's book of living and dying. and it speaks on the subconscious and how, you look at the subconscious as a program, because that's technically what it is it's these underlying programs, these automatic programs within the body. That's where these things live and lie. Oh, that's wonderful, Tony Ann.
Read
Tony
my
Ann.
mind like within you read my mind, Brian, within 15 seconds. Two things I was thinking is you're just talking about what you talked about before you brought up the subconscious. I'm thinking, well, the subconscious is involved in this too. We have to raise the frequency in that. There's things we don't know about go. And then you bring it up and it's just like, oh my
Mhm.
God, here we go again. We're
Well,
on the
yeah,
right track, I guess.
yes, exactly. They're just showing us synchronicities always are showing us that we're on the right path and we're onto something. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the subconscious is where our automatic programs lie. So our breathing, our heartbeats, all our stuff, when our favorite song comes on, we just naturally start to sing it. It's just an automatic program in our subconscious. We don't think about it, we don't actively act upon it, it just goes because it's the program. Well, once we realize that it's a program, we can alter any program or we can program whatever we want into subconscious. We do that by repetition. We do that by consistently holding a constant pattern of these things. So then the subconscious recognizes, oh, we're doing this constantly. Well, let's just throw that into the automatic program because this is something we're repeating all the time. I get it. You don't have to think about that. Don't worry about that. We'll throw it into the automatic programming, the subconscious. We'll let the program run. You got it dialed in. Now you're free to focus on other things. And that's where practice makes perfect. That's where all those ideologies come from. And that's why it's so important to really practice these ideologies. Practice love every single moment you can. Practice compassion, forgiveness every single moment you can, even in the toughest times, especially in the toughest times when you're approached with things that just disgust you. Just I hold compassion and I hope they see the light. I hope they rise up, and I see them rising up to my level, and don't lower ourselves to those worlds. And when we start to do that, again, that's how things start to change. And then just think of if you had all the freedom of all those things that take up your mind and your consciousness on the daily, then you're focused. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to make sure I'm writing this. I got to make this. If those things became automatic, that you could, and just like a computer, when you have a computer, any good programmer knows, hey, if I have to do this task every single time I do this, every time I'm going to write a script that's going to do this for me. We can write the scripts of our program, of our subconscious, program our subconscious, let those scripts run, and then we don't have to focus on that. And that frees up our energy to focus on other things. And then we can grow. And then those other things, maybe those are becoming repetitive. Okay, I'm doing this all the time. I'm going to put that in my subconscious. Now I get to focus on growth, expansion. And then all those things don't go away because they're automatically running in the subconscious. They're in that automatic program now. And that's why I'm getting so repetitive with the breath of the infinite work and these infinite loops and creating the infinite vortex within us. Because once you set that, it's made difficult at first. You're tracking all these different infinities, you're tracking the energy, don't you're flowing with everything. But once you consistently do it, it starts to get easier and easier. And then you don't think, and then you're like, oh, I'm flowing with it. I am tracking all these different threads. Oh, now I don't have to worry. I know I don't have to focus on every thread because every thread's doing what I want it to do because I've programmed it to do that. And now I don't have to focus on all the little details and nuances. I just know I want to do this. Subconscious picks up the program. Oh, you want to run that program? Okay, let's run it. Boom, program on, and it just does it, and it just does it naturally. I've noticed that in my own qigong, with the qigong movements and stuff, and doing qigong, and at the first when I first started it, it's like I'm always having to think about it, and I even developed, and my Sifu told me, and then it developed into a mantra. Qigong, it starts in the mind, moves to the body, and then it starts to affect the soul and benefit the soul. And when you break that down and you think about it, when you first start something, and especially these Qigong, you're focusing on the movements. You're thinking, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that. And then you start getting repetitive of it. And it starts, now I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Now my body starts to get flowing, and now my body gets to benefit from it because now I'm not thinking about what I'm doing and I'm just flowing with the movements. There's no questioning. And now my body is in sync, my mind is in sync, and those have let go. Now the soul gets to reap the benefits because now you're in that complete flow of things and everything's just moving and going and flowing. And
I
it's,
say something, Brian?
of course.
You're speaking to something that I'm thinking on a lot. I'm seeing it. It's like I'm seeing patterns in the world and what people do. And it's the opposite of what you're talking about, what everybody is doing right now. I am feeling like there's a new way here for us. It involves the light that's here now, and interacting with it in ways, new ways that have never been done before. Now, only a few are meant to start with this, but it's going to be easier and fun. And like, the old way is like, nothing, I'm not speaking against you, but I'm like seeing that, it's just not what's meant to be. And yet people can't accept that or believe that really. I mean, I've got some steps shown to me to start with to take, and it's not easy to find those that could even believe that enough to try it, ways to interact with the light that we are. That could be extremely fun and easy, miraculous. I mean, I know it would work, but I'm just seeing that there's a pattern of people with their eyes on the opposite of what you are saying. I don't know what the point is to that, but there is one. There is
So
one.
my counter to that is, what are those people impact in your life? And what does what those people are doing matter in your world? If you are so if that's again, that's where our focus is on what these people are and that lower thing and why aren't they doing it, then we get sucked into that world.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I have my eyes open looking for someone who, could believe like what I just said, who could believe and would want to follow it a little bit, just enough to practice a bit
So
and see how it
we
works
one
out. I can't even find that.
once again, we become the blueprint. We show them in our actions it can be done. We don't need words anymore. We become the essence of it.
Uh-huh.
And then they see it and they're like, wow, Debbie is freaking happy all the time. Things are working out like she's manifesting miracles. Things are just amazing.
Let me
She's
ask you, how do
bubbly.
you do that? How do you do that? That means interrupting someone's Zoom is what it means. It means being impolite enough to kind of interrupt a Zoom, and Christians do not like that. Even believers don't like it. I mean, it's just a fact of life.
Once
Gonna be
again,
looked at bad, rude,
what does that
thrown out, kicked
matter to
out,
you? What does that
thrown out,
matter
kicked
to you?
out of a
How does
Zoom.
that affect your
I
life?
can't get back in to do it. I
And
don't know
that
how to
is
go
your
about
choice.
it.
That is not them doing that to you. So you are already telling yourself you can't. And when you tell yourself you can't, you've already lost. There is absolutely no way you're going
Good
to achieve it.
point. That's a
There's
good
zero
point.
chance of you ever winning if you tell yourself you can't.
Well, I've tried. Let's just put it that way.
And you got to keep
Try
trying.
harder. Yeah.
You have to show the
Okay,
universe.
Brian, you said it. Are you ready, Brian? You said it.
You can't
You
speak
said
it.
it.
You can't just speak. You can't just say, "Hey, universe, I want this," and then sit on your laurels and just kick back and be like, "Well, shit, why isn't the universe delivering it to me?" Because you aren't doing and showing the universe that you want it. You have to be the action. You have to do it. You have to do it. Every single thing you do and every action you do, you have to completely embody it. And then the universe looks at you and you're like, okay, this guy, I know what he wants. He's not confusing me. He's not saying one thing and doing another thing. He's saying, he's doing, he's acting, he's living, he's breathing, he's
Right,
doing
that's a
it.
fact. That's a fact. You
And we
got
don't
another
doubt
good
it.
point.
We never doubt
Well,
it. You doubt it, then you inject doubt in, you inject fear in, you lower your vibration, and then you steer yourself off course. You have to have faith and know it's going to work out above everything else.
so I got to be the example of your little demonstration here, huh? Wooey.
If I could
No,
interrupt,
it's true. What's that?
I was going to interrupt for a minute.
Go
I,
ahead. See, it's not interrupting, I mean, why not
You were
talk?
I
the
was
only one that called it interrupting.
No, this
okay.
isn't interrupting.
Well,
I
I
don't think.
was going to say, David, Debbie, what I was thinking, maybe you were feeling, which I feel sometimes, is that there's almost like in isolation to being someone who believes all this and not being surrounded by other people who do. And it becomes like a frustration. Like I've noticed that more and more lately with me, with people, is that I feel like I'm living in a totally different reality, which I am. And I'm just like, I just like, I don't even get where the other person's coming from.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
that could be frustrating to a certain degree. And I do have people I have friends within a spiritual community, but we're still not like seeing things the same way at all.
It
Yeah.
gets unstimulating, right? Because you know what? I'd call it a mandate. It's a mandate. You know, when you feel it that strongly, it will mess with your physical body if you can't flow like that, because there's a lot of power in that. We're talking, the power of God. We're talking who and what we are. So it's frustrating, yes.
It can be. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's hard. It's very it's uplifting to be surrounded by people who share the same
It's
vision.
fulfilling. It's just so
So
fulfilling.
every single path is different.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a different steps
Hmm.
and different things to awaken to the truths of what they are and who they are and what we truly are. And when we try to walk others' paths for them is when we fall into suffering because they don't meet our
Hmm.
expectations. But why are they our expectations when it's their life? They will ascend, they will elevate. Blah, blah. I don't know why that was so hard to say. They will elevate, they will rise up, they will do what they need to do when it's time to do.
It's true. I believe in that. Of course, we're not to
And
judge others.
when we live in their world and we keep diving into their world and we keep suffering, we're just keeping that illusion alive. So we live in our world and we don't let their world infect our world. And we say, this is my bubble of existence. I know this bubble is safe. This world is my interaction. This is my direct interactions. I know I can go out to the grocery store, the corner store, and smile at the cashier and be nice to them. And the next time I'm going to come in, they're going to be nice to me. And they're going to be like, I remember Brian, this guy came in last time. He was awesome. I'm going to go to the coffee shop and they're like, this guy was so cool in here. I'm getting an extra pump of caramel. And I'm going to go into to my customers, my clients, and things like that. And they're going to like, every time you come in, my mood shifts. I just see you and I smile and I'm happy. And
Mm,
that is how we do it. That is the embodiment
okay.
of it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it
And
would
it's
be nice
happened.
sometimes to meet people who are all that are in the same bubble. That's all.
Mm.
They
Well, you
will,
know what?
and
We're
they're
meant
coming.
to right now. We're meant to right now. I believe that some more than other. But yeah, this is the
And
time
for
to
us to
meet.
say that those people do not exist, well, I
Oh,
see
they exist.
seven of us right here. Eight of us, including me. They do exist just because they don't, or they don't exist the way we want them to exist. And once again, are putting our expectations on them. Why are you not here? Well, because my evolution and my growth is different. I have understandings, I have things, but maybe I also understand it in a different way. This happens
Yeah.
actually with my wife a lot. She doesn't speak those same languages, but she also has the understandings. And when she reflects things to me or she explains things to me on spirituality and her understanding of spirituality, I think, oh, she does understand it, but in her own way.
It's a very
Right.
important lesson, I think, for all of us right now in our own way. That seems to be something we're all learning one way or another, the hard way or the easy way, you know?
And it can be hard if we want it to and fight and resist
Yeah.
it, and we can kick and stream the whole way and make it as difficult as we want. Or we can get the fuck out of our own way, get back in the flow, and allow it to just
Yeah.
go. I explained this to my son, and how was I explaining it to
Yeah.
him in energy and the flow of energy? If you have a stream or you have just a line of water, a stream of water, and it's flowing, and there's no obstructions, there's no distractions, there's nothing. That stream is just flowing. It's healthy. The water is getting there efficiently, fast. It's getting point A to point B in a rapid time. But then you start putting distractions, you start putting roadblocks, you start putting all these expectations in, you start putting rocks in the middle of the stream. All of a sudden, that stream flow goes way down, and the things take longer to get from the start of the stream to the end of the stream. So we
Gosh,
remove
I
all those
needed this.
obstructions within
Wow.
our stream. Remove the obstructions
Right.
within your stream and allow yourself to flow.
What a pep talk, I mean, geez, I needed to hear this, I guess, at this point. I really did. This is exactly some of these things what I'm needing right now. So it's perfect.
And that's exactly why the
Everybody,
universe brought you to this group.
it's amazing, just
I,
amazing. So tailored.
I want to say something to that too, because I find frustration too. I spent a lot of years frustrated spiritually, energetically, however you want to verbiage it, because I felt like people weren't hearing what I was trying to share. And I was trying to share it from a pure heart and I thought and wanting them to, you know, be expanded themselves. And I realized that my frustration most of the time, and I'm only speaking for myself, but most of the time my frustration came in because I felt like they were rejecting what I was saying. And then that was causing me to question what I was saying instead of just knowing that I know who I am and walking in my own stream and moving those boulders out of the way. In that case, feeling rejection from other people and worrying about what they think or what they care. I mean, I can still share in love, but I have no responsibility for their response. And when I take responsibility for their response, I open myself up to all kind of boulders in the stream.
That's beautiful. Now, did anything come of that for you? I'm curious. Did that get resolved? Did it just,
Well, I mean,
nicely
there
end
was
up
nothing to
resolved?
resolve except within
Okay.
myself. It didn't have anything to
Right.
do with resolving it with the other person because I'm not responsible for their stream, only my own.
Right.
Eh,
All
They
right.
may,
So
may
it's
they may
resolved. You
never,
feel
yeah,
better.
they may never,
Mhm.
accept it or understand it or walk in it. And all I can do is walk in it and be the example of it and not worry about their stream. So yes, it was resolved in my stream.
Yes.
And that's
Beautiful.
why
You
Yeah.
see,
it's the only stream I can worry about.
right, of
If we are
course.
constantly searching for acceptance of our truths, we're never going to find our
That's
truths.
part
No.
of it. Yeah, that's a good part of it. I learned that part. Now the part is it's there's a call to action for some, for
And
me, and
the
it's
way
hard
I
to find
see
the others.
the way I see it too, and
So
Devora kind of touched on it, but like you speak your truths no matter what. If it doesn't resonate with somebody, it doesn't, or they maybe
God
they pick
bless
up on
them.
one little thing from it, and it plants a seed within them that maybe doesn't grow or sprout today, but maybe 5 weeks from now they see something else, and it sparks and it
Yeah.
waters that seed, and it sprouts something within them. But just gotta be our truths and know our truths. And we can't let others dictate our truths because they've never walked our path. They don't
Right.
know our hardships. They don't know what we've been through. So when we let others dictate our truths, we're not living our truths and we're not living now we're living their life for them.
These are
Because
And
life's issues.
your only call to action is to walk in your own stream, not to try to dictate somebody else's stream, because that
Mhm,
then falls into manipulation.
mhm.
You that's the only call to action any of us have is to walk in our own stream, be our own pillar of light, and know that that will affect those around us to whatever degree it's supposed to. And that's not even that we have no responsibility for that.
It's
That's
another
just
lesson in patience. Wow. Endurance. But oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God.
nobody said ascension and awakening was going to be easy.
No, it's sure
no.
not.
And anyone that
Not yet.
does has not gotten there yet. It's
Well,
Or
and
there.
I
they're
think so,
lying. Or they're lying.
Yep.
and I think
Really.
some of us come from a mindset or a background. I know I do. I'll speak personally again. I came from a church background and a ministry background, if you will. And so for me, there was the tendency to want to go fix everybody. Oh, let me tell you what to do so your problems can all be fixed. And when I realized that's not that is a false call to action.
It's a trap. It's a
It's a
spiritual trap.
trap. It's a
Yeah, so
100%.
spiritual
many of
trap.
us have had that dealt with it. It's a personality thing or whatever, too, rescuing people, and there's roots in us.
Well, as you know, to use the term star seeds, as people, empaths, compassionate beings, you want to do that for people,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but you are doing them a disservice because you are taking away their lessons, and they're never going to learn their lessons if you learn it for them, if you walk their path for them. They're not going to get the skill sets that they need to evolve because you've taken now you're not being compassionate. You've taken that away from them. You're being actually rude, even ruder than you would be if you just let it be, because you're taking away their ability to grow, to evolve, and to learn the lessons they need to learn.
It's extremely important to be spirit led. That's the point I'm at in everything, especially in those things now. We have to be spirit led, and if we are, then we know it's going to be for someone's highest good and ours. And it does look that way too. The results end up looking that way. But that's not a point many are at yet. That's hard. It's not easy to know
And,
you are spirit led.
and we have to take
No.
solace with healing. If we provide them the tools, we show them, we become the blueprint, show them it can be done, they will heal on their timeline and in their time and at their pace that they need to heal at. It is not
Whatever.
our decision on how fast they heal. And that's where the karma comes in. That's where the suffering comes back on. That's where the frustration sets in. That's where we start getting angst. Why don't you hear me? I don't care. I said my
Get
piece.
all
I,
that.
I have lived that many a times. I've had to battle that so many times. I have friends that I do that with all the time. And I feel like banging my head against the wall, talking to them. And then I just let it go. I stop. I said, yeah, I'll share it. I'm going to speak my truths. I'm going to share whatever needs to be shared, especially like with my family and different people. I'm like, oh my God, if I start talking about this, I'm a galactic shaman. People are going to be like, whoa, Brian went off the freaking crazy train. And now he's, what's really going on, right? Like, and then I said, well, now I'm living their lives.
Galactic shaman. Oh my Lord. Shaman's bad enough, but galactic. Wow. That's brave.
Well, it's
I
speaking the
think that's
truths of
what
what
we
it is.
are.
It's speaking the truth of
Yeah,
what it
for
is.
sure. Well, I try to
That's what
break
we
it
are.
to them easy. Oh boy. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't try to break it to them at all. I just try to be. The thing I remind myself every day is I am that I am.
Exactly. Once
And
again,
that's
we
all
just
I have. That's all I'm responsible to is the I am that I am within me. And I don't have to convince anybody of anything. I don't have, in fact, when I try to convince them, is usually when I get the worst response. It sends it south, and it sends me south along with it because it takes me into frustration and anger and I don't understand, why can't they see this, and don't they understand, and da 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 da, and I just spiral right down with them instead of just being I am that I am, and this is you know this is my truth. I am a galactic shaman. Now, and either people are going to see that. I love that expression. That's
I know. I
my
never
new
heard it
favorite term,
before.
Brian.
Me
But
too.
when you can learn to just be the I am that I am, you quit having to be anything other than that because that's all that there is. And then either people will, like Brian said, people in your circle of life, just the people at the coffee shop or the people at the office or friends and neighbors, people are going to come to you. They're going to, my husband was a perfect example of this. And I'm so sorry that he didn't live long enough to be part of this group because he would have not been able to express this, but he would have understood this completely because he embodied this. He never told people what to do. He never, he was a Christian minister. You'd think that if anybody was going to be out there telling people what to do, it'd been him. He never told people what to do. He just knew that he just knew the I am that I am that he was. And because of that, people were just supernaturally drawn to him and came to him and asked him, you know, what is this? Why do you have this peace? Why do you feel direction in your life? How do you hear clearly? He didn't have to go and tell anybody anything. He just had to be.
Actions. Actions speak
yeah,
louder than words. They really
yeah,
do. What
yeah.
was his first name? I'm curious. Was it Steve?
Henry. No, it was
Henry?
Henry.
So I'll share a little with some stuff before we get into the meditations and stuff. But like I used to be very bad, especially online and social media, of getting in, you get in these spiritual groups and then you see people speaking falsities or things, and then you get into the arguments, and then like, or someone would comment on a post about something differential from what I am, and I get into the argument and like try and prove, no, this is right, and you're no, you got to see it my way, yeah, 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 and force my will, and it would just cause them to fight back and them to push back, and we're pushing against each other. And then I shifted. All of a sudden, I had a shift. And so now, when those things happens, I say, well, I thank them. I say, thank you for your insights. Thank you for providing your perception. I understand that's the way you see it. This is my truth. This is how I see it. But I appreciate you bringing your perceptions to the table so I can get a grander scale or grander view of the complete picture of understanding of the situation. And you thank them, and it actually it kind of twists people's lid when you react that way. When they come at you and they're aggressive and they're like, "Ha, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna bait you," and then you just You don't take the bait, you don't bite anything, and you just like you reflect it. And I think of it in Qigong, and I think of it with energy, and I explained it to my son. It's like, okay, you absorb that, transmute that energy, and then reflect it back right out to him with love. Just okay, you want to come at me? I'm going to counter it.
It
Galactic
is love.
galactic
It
shaman
is
shit right
love.
there. Galactic
Mm.
shaman shit. We doing it big. We doing it big. We ain't we are expanding out into the cosmos, and we're collecting energy all over, and nothing is getting to us if we don't allow it to. And we'll redirect, transmute it all back. And I said, like, people get twisted. They just
Mm.
sometimes they can't wrap around their brains around. They're like, well, what do you mean you're not going to engage and fight with me and come down to my level?
They're
And
growing
then,
too, see? They're
yep.
growing too.
And then exactly, and then it allows them to say,
Growing
"Wait,
right.
I don't have to react this way. There is a different way." And then that little act of compassion could change their life. Maybe it doesn't do it today, but it plants that seed again that goes, and then they think about it, and then the next time they go into an interaction like that, they're like, "Wow, I actually remember that last interaction I had with that guy, and he was just like really cool about it, and like kind of changed my way of interacting, and then they start thinking differently. That's how you change that thinking, subtly, not with a hammer, but just the right tool for the job. We're not trying to hammer screws in and tear up our drywall. We're looking to get the proper tool to make sure everything's clean and efficient and holds up.
Is there anything, just a very basic answer or word, is there anything pre-galactic or that came before galactic, do you think, or not?
Existence,
Oh, so that's maybe what we're heading into,
the aether,
awareness.
the aether,
Is that awareness to pure awareness,
that's
possibly?
consciousness. That is the field of consciousness, the ether, the all, the everything,
Yeah.
the
The I
existence of it
am that
all.
I am. Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
my God, wow. Wow.
Where we all stem
Okay.
from and what we all came from and where we all go back to. The flow.
Yeah. I had a cool
Alrighty.
thing. I have to share something real cool
Oh,
about the
cool.
eight. So,
Nice.
I was doing the meditation with the infinity symbol, right? And I was doing that with Emma and Europe and sending it out and just kind of looping one around one and then one around the other and one around one and one around the other and kind of just sending it in that manner in kind of encompassing them in the infinity symbol. And then all of a sudden, the two, I can't describe it, can't draw it. So the two sides of the infinity symbol kind of moved up like this next to each other, and all of a sudden the two parts of the infinity symbol were next to each other, and it was a heart instead of an infinity symbol.
Oh, that's cool.
Does that
That's
can you picture that?
extremely, there's something,
Yeah.
that means something. That's extremely, yeah, that's a piece of wisdom you saw. We don't know
It was
what yet
it was very
knowledge.
cool when I saw it, and I thought I'm just going
Yeah.
to keep holding them in that place of the infinity symbol and letting it draw them
Wow.
together so it blends up into a heart.
The heart, a heart. Wow, that's amazing. That's something to remember and ponder on. It may mean something to you, become very important in your life. Who knows?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
that once again that's what we've said, I think, from session one is this energy, when you allow it, it will guide you, it will show you, it will teach you, it will expand you, it will do and once again, this session is Brian's Zoom workspace pace, and I get to host it, but I have nothing to do with the energy is beyond me, and it's every one of us. It is the aether, it's the existence, the I am, the everything, the
Connected to love, possibly, and
yep,
a bit more like that. Yeah, comes from love. Yeah,
yep.
made per well.
Okay, well let's get into some fun then. Let's get into some energy work. Let's create some let's do the breath of the infinite. So what we'll do is we'll go from when I do the end of the guided session for the breath of the infinite. Then I'll just tap us right straight in, so we're kind of already in that flow of energy. Then I'll start the didgeridoo and the timer for 8 minutes, and we'll do that concentrated love, sending that calming, loving energy to Jerub and Emma, Arlo's parents, to create that healthy environment and that healing environment for Arlo to facilitate his healing the best.
Is there anything he needs at this point right now that you know of? Basically, one thing, maybe more than,
To heal the leaks in the gut.
okay,
So if you want to, one thing I've been envisioning, I envision most times with Arlo is encompassing his intestines in the purple energy and seeing the purple glow of
intestines.
energy
Okay,
and
okay,
seeing the purple glow and then allowing that purple glow and that energy to
yeah,
heal and merge and cover and patch. I like patch. We're going to use that
words.
again. Patch these leaks, patch these holes, merge and allow the
Okay.
tissues to start growing back together and healing themselves.
See, I just let spirit lead, and then I get shown and know, and just it's more fun that way. But thank you for the answer, the intestinal area,
Yeah.
right?
So we're going to flow into to Jerub and Enema with the extension that flows into Arlo. So kind of like we've been practicing the last couple of weeks, where we're utilizing them as catalysts to feed into Arlo. So when we get to the shamanic didgeridoo and the trance meditation, let's focus on that power of meditation, that power of group intent, that focus intention, and we'll just send that really powerful energy that we're going to create with the breath of the infinite to them to help facilitate that.
I just had a quick picture as you were talking, Brian, about that I'm going to use. Someone else may like this, that infinity eight signal. What you just said, I saw one eye, I'll call it an eye. There's two eyes in the eight, one eye over each parent, and then Arlo right in the middle of it. With the th so the three of them encompassed by that eight. That eight, as the energy is flowing around them all. I just love that. Purple, of course.
Purple, the energy of higher consciousness, the energy of unity and the love of unity, purple and red. I mean, red and blue merged. No division here. So, all right. So let's go ahead and everybody will mute out and we will get into the guided part and let's go into this breath of the infinite. So the first most important thing we're going to have to do is let's get rid of any preconceived, any thoughts that we brought to the table, anything that's coming to us, what we're going to do for dinner, what we got to do for work tomorrow, what we're going to wear, is the shower going to be warm, anything. And let's just set them off. Let's take them and we're going to set them off to the side, right next to us, where we can, if we want to, pick them up when we're done, but we don't need them right now. There's nothing we can do about any of it. So why even worry about it? Let's just take those ones that are distracting already, remove the distractions, set it off to the side. We'll deal with those later. So now that we are free of those distractions, we're going to want to get into the center of our head, where it's called the seat of the soul, and it's scientifically proven where the brain hemispheres meet. There's a void right in the center of the brain where no brain activity goes on, which is referred to in a lot of energetic teachings as the seat of the soul. And the easiest way to find that is you draw an imaginary line from the top of one ear to the top of the other ear, then another one straight in the middle brow at the third eye, straight out the back of our head. And where these two lines intersect is where you will find that void, where you will find the seat of the soul and where we're going to want to be, eventually throughout our day, throughout our existence, but definitely through this meditation. It's great because there's no distractions, there's no brain activity, there's nothing to distract us, but we still can be fully aware and alert of everything, if not even more so alert of everything within our body. So now we have free of distractions. We're in the seat of our soul. We're going to just kind of sit, get really comfortable in our seat. Feel the cushions under our legs, under our butt, behind us, really, really supporting us and allow our body to just sink into the comfort of that support. So our bones can kind of relax, our structure can kind of relax because it's being supported fully by our seat. So our muscles can kind of just give way. We can just kind of fully relax the body and slip into this state of peace and calm and flow. Now I want to start thinking about those things that light up our soul, that light up, that make us smile, that make our heart beam, that bring us the biggest joy and allow that energy to start just kind of growing and manifesting from at the heart center taking shape. It may be electric, it may be fire, whatever it presents itself to you as. It may show up as this purple, beautiful energy. It may show up as a green, heart-centered energy. Allow the energy to speak to you, because as you see it means you acknowledge it, and allow it to continue to grow from the heart. Every breath in, the energy expands out a little bit more. And every exhale, it kind of settles in, filling in the little nooks and crannies in our energetic field. And we're just going to kind of keep doing that, expanding the energy out, allowing this beautiful, blissful, joyful, loving energy to expand and fill up our entire energetic body. So we just have this cloud of this beautiful energy surrounding our entire being, and just kind of bathe in it, enjoy it. And now we're going to create our infinite cortex, our infinite vortex of energy within us. So we have this unlimited supply of this beautiful energy within us that we can tap into at any time. And to do that, we are going to start at the base of the spine, at the root chakra. And as we breathe in, we're going to breathe in and allow the energy to rise up and kind of curl out to start creating the bottom part of our infinity loop, that bottom loop. It's going to rise up the right side of the body, up the belly, and then it's going to continue as we breathe in, converge in, and cross over at the heart. Continue to breathe in and follow the energy up as it goes up the left side of our upper body, and then finally up over the head where it meets the crown chakra, and we can begin to exhale and allow it to start to expand and curve outward and down the right side of the upper body. Continuing to exhale as it crosses back over at the heart, over to the left side of the belly as it rolls down, and then finally curving under the spine, connecting back at the root chakra, completing that infinite circuit within us. Now we're going to pivot 45 degrees. And this time, as we breathe in, the energy is going to come up the back right side of our body, coming up, curving out, creating that lower loop of the infinity as we breathe in, crossing over the heart, starting now the upper half of that infinity loop, going up the front left of our body, connecting up at the crown where we begin our exhale and allow the energy to flow down the upper back right of our body, crossing back over at the heart again, where it comes down the lower front left of the belly, and it curves back in, reconnecting and completing the circuit at the root chakra. Pivoting another 45. This time we breathe in, allow the energy to come up the backside behind the spine, just right behind us, curving out, then back in where it converges and crosses over at the heart center as we breathe in, allowing it to curve out and up in front of us, up past the neck and the face, up over the forehead and connecting into the crown. And then an exhale, relax, and allow that energy to just flow down the backside of us, the back of the head, behind the spine, the neck, curving and curling back into the heart center. And then over to the other side where it comes down the front of the belly, down past the navel, curving under the belly where it connects back into the root and completes the circuit. Pivoting another 45. This time the breathe in, it comes up the left back half of our body, up that back side, curving out, then coming back in, crossing over at the heart where it comes to the upper front right of the body, curving up over, coming up over the head, over the crest of our head, where connection to the crown. We can begin to exhale, allowing it to come down the upper back right of our body, completing that upper loop and crossing over at the heart. Continue to relax, breathing out as it goes down the front left of the or right of the belly, finishing out that lower loop and allowing that to cross into the body and come under this and connect back into the root. And now again, breathe in. This time it's going to come up the left side of the belly, curving out up the left part of the belly, where it crosses over at the heart, continues up the path now up the right side of the upper half, where it curves over the head, connects to the crown. Exhaling, bringing that energy back down the upper loop as it goes down the left upper part of the body, crossing back over the heart, coming down the right side of our belly, where it connects back to the root, completing the circuit. Pivoting another 45. On this in-breath, we come up the front upper left of the belly, curving out, crossing over at the heart. Continue to come up as it comes up the back upper right of the body, coming up over the head. And we begin to exhale as the energy starts to wash down over us, curving out, coming down the front left of the upper body, crossing over at the heart where it comes down to complete the circuit, curving back the back right of the body, under, connecting back into the root, completing the circuit. Pivot another 45. This time we're coming up the front of the belly as it rises up. The energy comes up, up past the navel, up the belly, over the curve of the belly, curving into the heart center where it crosses over. Starts that upper loop as it goes up behind the spine, up the neck, up over the head, connecting to the crown, and then we exhale. Allow the energy to wash down over us as it washes down past the face, the chin, the throat, curving into the heart, where it crosses over to complete the lower half of that lower loop, back behind the spine, where it curves down, connecting at the roots, completing the circuit. Now we'll go up, breathe in, up the upper right half of the body, the right front, curving out, creating that lower loop, crossing over at the heart, where it continues up the back lower, the left back of our body, the upper left back, crossing over the head or curving over the head, connecting at the crown and down the front upper left of the body or right of the body, sorry, curving into the heart, crossing over, going down the lower back left of the body, curving down where it connects back at the root. And we pivot another 45, and now we're back where we started and initially started this. So now we're going to do 3 breaths, and we're going to follow each one of these circuits, each one of these infinity loops we created. And on the in-breath, follow each one up as it rises up, curves over the belly, crossing over at the heart, continuing up as they curve up over the upper half of the body, converging at the crown. And then we exhale, allow this energy to just wash down over us as it curves out, crossing back over at the heart, and then creating that lower loop as it curves out and back down, connecting at the root, encompassing our entire chakras in this beautiful energy. So again, on the in-breath, we rise up, follow the energy upwards on all these loops, converge at the heart, allow it to cross over to the other side, creating the upper half of the loop, the upper loop, merging up at the crown, and washing down on the exhale, cleansing the body and the chakras as it comes down, crossing over at the heart to the other side, looping down and connecting, completing the circuit back at the root. One more time, breathing in, following each of these energy threads, these infinite loops within as they curve up around the belly, crossing over at the heart, curving out, expanding out above the upper half, up over the crown, and then exhale, wash down, allow it to just flush out any tension, anything that you don't want, and just wash, calm the body, crossing over at the heart, starting the lower loop, curves out, then back in, connecting at the root. So now we are going to bring in, this time we're going to do a little reverse because I want to anchor the celestial energies into Gaia. So we're going to start by connecting into the celestial chi first, the heaven chi, the upper chi first. So now to do that, we already know we set the program, so our infinite vortex is already running. We don't have to worry about that. So this time on the breath, let's focus and start at our heart center. And as we breathe in, create that lower half of the infinite loop as it rises up, curving out both sides, just kind of curving out, creating the loop. And then it's going to come in and it's going to start to converge and cross over at our soul star chakra, which is about a foot above our crown chakra in the cosmos. And then it's crossing over there, and now it starts to create the upper loop of that infinity symbol, reaching up high into the cosmos, gathering all that good celestial heaven energy, all that good celestial chi, collecting it into this loop, and allowing it to come back down on the exhale, bringing that energy down to us, crossing over at the soul star chakra, and creating that lower loop as it comes down, bringing it into our body, bringing it into our heart, where it merges at that center of our infinite vortex that we've created, merging itself with that life chi within us, merging that heaven chi within us. So again, we inhale, both sides of the infinity symbol can come up simultaneously on each side of the body, rising up, 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 up on the inhale, up above the head, crossing over at that soul star chakra, then creating the upper loop as it reaches up into the cosmos, gathering all that good celestial energy. And on the exhale, it curves back down that loop, crossing over again at the soul star chakra, bringing it down into the body, past the crown, the third eye, the throat, and then merging it back down at the heart where it meets that life force energy we created with our infinite vortex. And let's do one more breath in. Ride the energy up both sides, creating that lower loop, up, crossing over at our soul star chakra, creating the upper loop, and then up into the cosmos, curving around, and then back down on the exhale as it washes down, flows down effortlessly into us, crossing over at our soul star, entering the body at the crown, the third eye, the throat, and then finally curving down, merging at the heart where it meets that life force energy, and we're bringing now that heaven, that celestial energy, and anchoring it down into our body. So now that we have that heaven chi within us, we're going to now anchor it into Gaia by collecting or connecting into the earth chi and creating an infinite loop down into the earth chi and into the earth life force. And to do that, I just envision we're at the center and the core of Gaia, the core of the earth. And then as you breathe in, you're going to breathe in and start gathering that energy up, allowing both curves to simultaneously come up from the core of the earth, drawing that earth chi up into it. And then it's going to cross over at our earth star chakra, about a foot below the core of the earth, or our root down in the earth. And it's going to cross over there, start to create the upper loop of that infinity symbol. Continue to breathe in as it draws that earth chi up into our root, into our sacral, into our solar plexus, and then it merges and curves back in and collects at the heart where it merges with that heaven chi, it merges with that life chi, and creates its trifecta of earth, heaven, and soul within the heart. So now as we exhale, that energy that we've collected and merged, it can come down that upper loop, down, down into the earth, crossing back over at our earth star chakra, and then down deep into the depth, into the core of Gaia, bringing that heaven chi, bringing that life force into Gaia as it merges with its earth chi, with the energy of the earth, curving down, completing loop at the core of the earth. So again, we inhale, draw the energy of the earth up in the lower infinity loop, bringing it up, allowing it to cross over at our earth star chakra. And then we begin the upper loop as it comes up, bringing that earth chi up into our body at the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and then merging as it curves back down, completing that upper loop, merging at the heart, merging with that heaven chi, merging with that life force chi. And then the exhale, it just flows back down the curve of that upper infinity loop, crossing back over as it enters the earth, crossing over at the Earth Star chakra, and then creating that lower loop deep, deep into the core of Gaia, deep into the earth, bringing and anchoring that heaven chi down deep into the core of Gaia as it connects and finishes the loop at the core of the earth. Again, one more. Breathe in, follow the energy up both sides of the loop as it comes up, gathering the earth chi, crossing over at our Earth Star chakra, creating the upper loop as it comes up, merging, flowing, influence, and ingesting into our body, bringing that good cleansing earth chi up into our body, invigorating us, and then merging up at the heart, merging with our life force, merging with that heaven chi. And then as we exhale, we allow it all to just settle down and flow down into the earth as that upper loop converges and meets at the Earth Star chakra, and then down deep into the core of Gaia, where it finishes the loop and finishes that circuit and connects into the core of Gaia. So now that we've programmed each of these loops, and these loops are infinite, they're always flowing within us. We can check into these using just the one breath technique. So the one breath is we start at the base of each loop. So we start and we check in at the core of the earth. We check in at our roots chakra, and we check in at our heart chakra. And as we breathe in, we follow each loop up and allow that lower infinity loop to create. And then the earth one comes up, merges at the soul star. The infinite vortex within merges at the heart. And this heaven chi merges up at the soul star, continuing to rise up. Allow those energies to go all the way up to their upper crest. And now at the upper crest of the earth is at the heart. The upper crest of the life is at the crown, and the upper crest of the heaven chi is in the cosmos. And then exhale and just follow each loop back down, allowing that energy to reintegrate itself into your life force. And down, down, crossing back over at each point at the soul star, at the heart, at the earth star, and then converging, completing the loop deep into the core of Gaia, at our root and at our heart, merging heaven, earth, and life. Now that we are in the flow, I will start the shaman. I'm going to share our screen, and we will start the shamanic trance to send that healing energy to Jereb and Emma, and in proximity to Arlo. Enjoy. I will see you all in 8 minutes. wow, wee woo. Ay, 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 ay. That was awesome. I was really, really powerful. I went with kind of off of what Debbie had said, and so as I envisioned, uh, first I sent an infinity loop to Jared and Emma. So I've connected it one loop into my heart and the other end of the loop into their heart. So I created these kind of V out to them, and then in between them, they shared their loop with each other. So one was connected to their heart, one loop connected to Jared's heart, one connected to Emma's heart. And in the middle was Arlo at that crossover point, at that center point, the merging of their two hearts, their two hearts coming together. So I envisioned, so now we have this and it goes this, and then them connecting, it creates this triangle. And so now we have this triangle of energy, this trifecta, this flow, this three of energy. Three is very powerful of healing. So I'm feeding them with infinity threads. I'm tapping into my energy. It's going out to them, and then that energy is then merging with their own infinity thread between the two of them, charging it, infusing it with healing energy that's just flowing through Arlo. And then I saw all of that, all of us, everyone here, sitting around doing the same thing, exact same way with the triangles, doing the exact same thing, and it created this sacred geometry. It started forming. And then as I watched that, it just emblazoned with the purple energy. It just started charging and glowing. And I kind of focus on as the loops are going, I'm watching the energy and I see all these symbols, Reiki symbols, ancient symbols flowing through these infinity loops into, and so now all of us are feeding Jerub and Emma with these infinity loops. So they're getting all this influx of energy from all of us, charging into them, and then that's merging into their energy, supercharging the energy in between them that they're sharing in between each other. So they don't even have to do anything. It's just all of our energy is just healing and charging, and then they just are creating the connection, and it's just flowing. All of it is flowing. So all of our exponential energy flowing into them, then flowing directly into Arlo. So it's just funneling the energy. And then it just expanded out. And I started thinking about like others that are watching the replay, and others in our group that couldn't be here tonight. And then I saw the others, there was like those that are watching the replay, those that aren't here right now, they started sitting down in the circle and joining in the energy and contributing and creating their own triangle loops into the vortex and creating this beautiful sacred geometry and energy that was just fueling and just charging and all funneling into Arlo. And then I sat down with Jereb and Emma, and I started to talk with their souls. And I said, okay, I I I, I can't do this for you guys, but you guys have, I think you've learned these lessons, the lessons that you were meant to learn through these hardships. I think you've learned them. So I think it's time to remove these soul contracts. But I can't do that for you. You guys have to be the ones to do it. Are you guys willing to do that? Are you done? Do you think you've learned these lessons? And they agreed. They said, yes. I said, okay. So what we're going to do is I want you to hold your soul contracts up and just envision them, emblazon them in purple flame. Envision a purple flame just engulfing them, and it just burnt up these contracts, and they just disintegrated. And as soon as those disintegrated, they just all of a sudden this healing wave just washed over them, and the energy that they were influxing just it supercharged. It was like all blockages within them were removed, and it was like that stream, talking about the stream and removing, and the flow of energy just was just like this raging river into, and all funneling into Arlo. And then the timer came out, and I got to tell you guys what happened. So that was wow, 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 incredibly, incredibly powerful and awesome. And I loved it. And so now I get to leave it open to anybody that feels called to share themselves. Oh, I think you're on mute, Debbie. Let me
I actually have to go in like 2 minutes because it's kind of late here.
Talk
So
then. Speak.
do you want to share first then, Tony?
sure. I saw all of us there as well, and the others that I know will watch the replay. So it was very similar. And while I was doing it, and I was using my Reiki symbol, so you said you saw Reiki symbols,
Yeah.
and I'm like, coming for me. Um, I also thought of a triangle for some reason, and I'm like, why am I seeing triangles? But it was pretty intense. I could feel like the energy in my hands. Was somebody speaking light language before we started, or was I just hearing?
During the guided part, there was some light language that came out. Yes.
Okay,
Sounded
yeah.
like.
I'm like, I'm hearing it. Am I hearing it from somebody over there or somebody?
I was speaking, but I don't know if it's called light language or not. Slang.
It sounded like light language to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, I was doing that too, but when we were on mute, so um it was pretty amazing. I want to thank you guys, but I'm gonna head out because it's late here and I gotta go to bed.
I understand. Thank you for joining, Tony. It was great to
Thank
see you.
you. Yeah, have a good night,
You,
guys.
you too.
Thanks, Tony Ann.
About your dreams.
Thank you.
So I was saying, and I didn't know why. First of all, the man's right shoulder, I was shown first, is part of this, or he has a problem with it. I don't know. But anyway, that's a part of this connected to what's going on, possibly with Arlo. I don't know. But it was there. The right shoulder was really standing out, and it's a good thing. It's involved in this, and it's all being helped. Now, Brian, you were first. We were all there in the room again, and Brian, you had your hands on Arlo's belly first, like is there any Native American in them again or not? Do you know?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Well, it seems like shamanic things will help this situation. Your hands were there first, then mine, then Devine, Denor, Devora, and then the rest of us. Now there was a bright red glow from the boy's belly under your hands, and that's all this energy and light and power, I believe now. That was he was getting. It was red. I didn't know why it was red, and yet there were some white beams coming out from under that, white beams of light. And so that's basically what I saw, and it was amazing. It's really amazing.
That's awesome. Sounds very, very powerful. And definitely along the lines of how what I felt, what it seemed like Tony Ann felt. So I don't know if I'll leave it open to you guys hear enough of me talking. So anybody else want to share?
Oh, let me just add that a tree of life sprung up in the middle instead of the infinity sign at one point when you were talking about soul star, I think it was. I'm not
Mm,
sure, but tree of life sprang up is just another perspective on this that we were flowing. That's the flow that was going on was
mm,
the tree of life and not of knowledge
mm.
from this.
I did remember one last thing towards right at the end, but it was right at the end. That's why it almost escaped me. It is right after that healing and the soul contracts burned up and the influx of energy that Jeb and Emma were flowing. Uh, just physically within my body, I started to feel bubbles going through my intestines, like just all flowing through my intestines, and then they just relaxed and they just felt like calm and peaceful and healed. And I just thought, okay, that's got to be a sign, right? It's got to be something. That was just interesting that it happened right there. I thought,
Yeah.
I got the impression that you're important to this in some special way. That's why I asked about the heritage. For some reason, there's some kind of special connection between you and the boy in this situation, I believe. And that is when I saw the tree spring up when you mentioned the contracts. That's when the tree of life sprung up.
hmm, nice.
That's interesting about the contract because well, first, let me tell you what I saw. So, what I saw was I saw the infinity symbol kind of sideways, like this way, like a scalar wave. And I saw one loop. I saw Emma sitting in the loop, and she was holding a newborn in her arms. And then I saw Jarob sitting in the other loop, and he was just beaming. He was just beaming. And then right in the center where the two loops came together was Arlo, and he he was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was so excited to be a big brother. And it was so cool. And I saw, I mean, when I meditate for them and I pray for them and I just send the infinity to them and stuff, I constantly remember the look on their faces when they told us they were pregnant with Arlo. I have never seen such pure love on two people's faces as when the night they told us they were pregnant with Arlo. And I saw that I saw that as they were sitting there as a family. And it's interesting about the soul contract, Brian, because I have believed from the beginning, and I told my son this, and he really accepted it the other day when I told him this, because it's real contrary to everything he was brought up to believe. But I told him, I said that I knew that Arlo had signed a soul contract, that he knew that he was going to go through this, but he looked down through eternity and he saw his mom and dad, and he loved them so much that he agreed to sign that contract and come and go through this to bring them together as a family. And when you said that, it just hit me that Arlo didn't need that contract anymore because it was fulfilled.
As usual, when you tell and speak, gives me chills. I just love it. I love hearing. It's good stuff.
What a story. This is really, it's the best. Now, this is what I call fulfilling.
That is the hope. I mean, that's all we can try to do, put this energy out there. And once again, so you look at how powerful these sessions are. Imagine if this is what we just lived. This is just how we
Yeah.
existed. This is just how we be. This is how your life then becomes. This is your world will start merging and will start adjusting to you. If you don't lower your vibration, it has to rise up to meet yours, right? And
If if we
that's
if we can affect the life of one little boy, we can affect the world.
I believe a good part of this is this new light that has come in. It's enabling so much more than was ever possible. That's why look for the new ways from something like this.
mm,
We help each other bring out the best in everything and each other.
yes. And when you get the
Yes.
same group of the people with the same intentions and the same energy and that same flow, focusing on something, it becomes exponentially powerful. And there's scientific medical studies that prove that it's true, and so even the biggest skeptic, you can be like, hey, here, look at, they've done extensive studies on this. This is not it is not some woo-woo stuff, and it's also not an instant fix on things. It's what it does is it generates the energy to create and facilitate the healing, and the
It
healing will
can
still take
be.
place. And so that's what we're doing is we're facilitating the energy, we're generating the energy, we're feeding and giving Jereb and Emma and Arlo the energy needed to
Mhm.
facilitate the healing and allow the healing to be successful.
This is what we've seen so far, but I'll tell you, this is a perfect example almost of what I feel. A little practice like this, and this through us can multiply 100 times into something new that is meant for humanity, and will be so easy to do. Yeah, where and as needed, it will happen the way it needs to.
And that's why I always say share this with not specifically these meditations, but share this energy with not just everybody, but everything, every plant, every animal, everything you interact with. Share, share, share. Spread, spread, spread. Make it become that resonant energy within your field. Make it become the resonant energy within your neighborhood. Go out on walks, interact with the trees. The more you do it, I swear and I promise you, because I've witnessed it and I've seen others witness it, you're going to walk next to that tree, and the next time you walk into it, and you've walked past it for 3 days, sharing your energy with it, it's going to start reaching out to you and sharing its energy back. And it's going to reach out and hug you with its energy. And I've witnessed it time and time again. I know people that have witnessed it. It's so true, and it's so amazing when it happens to you. It is like the best feeling to like, did you just hug me, tree? You just like reach out and hug me. That was freaking awesome. Thank you. Like, oh my God. And then you just sort of left on this bliss. You're like, well, I don't care. I just got hugged by a tree. So you all can fuck off. You can fuck off. Life is great. That's his role.
And
And
you know,
it's,
I have to add the way the light is here now and intensified and meant to work with and entangle with, uh, things can come from what you just said that never came from it before easily. That'll shock the heck out of everyone.
well, what we're doing in this group is something that's never been done before. Because what we're doing in this group came to me in a vision about what, 4 months ago now, the initial start of it, and it was not anything that I've ever seen, and not any practice I've witnessed. There's some tie-ins. There's obviously tie-ins to the violet flame. There's tie-ins to Reiki. There's tie-ins to energetic healings and different things, but it was never nothing like this. And there's also now the more I give in to the flow of the energy, the more it shows me, the more it evolves and it's grown. For all of you that have been here since the start or from the early times, you've all seen how it's grown and how immensely it's grown and how it's just taken on a life of its own and then just really shaping into this incredibly powerful tool that we all get to tap into whenever we want to.
Oh, so that's just another perspective on kind of on what I mentioned then. You're an example of it. Well,
We all
yeah.
are. We all are. We're walking
Oh,
examples of,
yes.
we are embodiments of this light that's coming to Earth. And it's stronger and it's activating more and more of us. It's activating us deeper, deeper levels. It's activating things within us that we didn't know existed. I know me, I get things regularly, daily now, activations of things I didn't even know that were in the realm of activations that I didn't expect activations. And I was like, whoa, that was really awesome. What just happened? And it's just incredible. And it's all due to this energy. And this
We
energy
can
is
believe. You
every one of
got to
us.
believe in your heart, Brian, right? You believe in your heart. And so it's important to believe in our hearts, I think, I believe. And then anything we believe like that can happen.
And that goes back to the earlier conversations where when you are living someone else's dream or you're living someone else's beliefs, you're not believing in yourself. You're not believing in your own magic. You're believing their world. You're believing that you're allowing them to influence your reality and therefore change your reality. But you
Time
are
to
the architect.
change.
You are the author. You hold the magic pen and the book, and you get to write your story anyway. And once you freaking realize that, and I know that all these self-help courses, all these places, they talk about it, but it's when you really start
Mhm.
doing it that it happens. And they don't show you the practical ways. They just say a lot of catchphrases, but the
I think it's
practical
all
way,
about money, really, more about
nothing.
money than the people.
Nothing's about money. Money is the falsity.
Yes.
Money is the
Yes.
falsity, and it is the
I
the
know.
corruption
I know.
of things. It
They're
is how
making
we
it about
interact.
that.
Well, some people do. Some people do, and the great thing is, the more you tap into this energy, the more you allow this energy to flow through you, the more you can spot that out and counteract that instantly. You can walk into a room, you can walk into a conversation, you can see something, and you're like, whoa. I'm gonna reverse this. I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna come in with love. I'm gonna come up with the opposite vibration. I'm gonna raise it up. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna shift the whole damn room. And then you walk out, and the room's all lively and happy and popping, and you're like, and everyone's like, "What the hell, man? I don't know what happened. It's just this guy just walked in and out, and the whole world's different." Like, I mean, I literally, I'm not lying. I'm not trying to toot my own horn because once again, this is not me. This is the energy, and every single one of you in this room, everyone listening to the replay, everyone listening and practicing, you all can accomplish this. But I have people that come up to me and tell me, like at my work all the time, my custom, like, dude, I love it when you come and visit me. Like, why don't you come? I need to break something, so you have to come and do a ticket because I love it when you come. Because every time you leave, I'm happier. Like, I don't know what it is about you. You just change. I have people that just come up and want to give, can I just give you a hug? Can I just give you a hug? I just want to be in your energy and absorb it. And if we were all doing that regularly, imagine that becomes infectious. You start infecting others with positivity instead of negativity. I don't know if any of you have seen the meme or the cartoon of the person who's like this dark, shadowy person. He's down, and he's just and there's this dark shadow of himself, and then there's a person with this beam of light, and their heart shining and radiating out, and they walk up and they see this down person, this dark soul, and they look at him and they go, hmm, and they walk over and then they hug him and they just hold him, And then all of a sudden that dark soul starts to light up, and that energy, the light from the light person starts to infiltrate the dark person and light them up. And all of a sudden now you got two bodies that are lit up at the heart, glowing out in the world. And then they go and share that with two people. And then those two people share it with two people. And then before you know it, millions of people are in that vibe and in the flow. That's how you change the world.
I think
That's the
something that's
key.
important. I think it's something that's important, even with what Debbie said about, people who do it for financial gain or whatever, and they're not really doing anything. They're just convincing themselves they are. But, it's important. We've talked about as we give out this, it comes back and it heals us, and it's freely give and you will freely receive. It's the principle. It's just the principle of the universe. But if we give with any expectation of return, we cancel it out, I think. We have to give with no expectation of return, even though the law of return is still in action. If we expect a return, we cancel out what we're doing.
Exactly. And in the raw contacts in that book I was reading with the raw contact and that those interactions, those sessions, they break that down into the two polarities of service to self, service for self,
Mm-hmm.
or service for
Mm-hmm.
others. And when you're in
Yeah.
service for self, you're always looking for power, manipulation. How do I gain more power? I'm going to use you. I'm going to abuse this. I'm going to do this. But when you're in service for others, you don't have any expectations. You're in the flow.
Yeah.
So resistance or in the flow. Well, we already know which one we want, right? We want to remove all the obstacles and we want that river to flow effortlessly.
Yeah.
But if we're working and living off of what we're earning from that, it's been
That is the existence of the matrix, and we have to have the energetic exchange. We have to have that. There's
yeah,
ways I'm working, and others are working to actively change the ideology behind energetic exchange. That we don't that money is not the main form of energetic exchange. That maybe there's
right.
other ways. Maybe I offer you a healing or a Reiki session, and you offer me this, or I have some crops that you have, and you have a sourdough starter that I
Definitely.
want. You have these. It's energetic
Yes.
exchange, and when you
Yes.
look at money is just energy in reality, but it's energy
Yeah.
that can be manipulated, controlled, hoarded because it's physical. It's a physical incarnation of it. So and that's where money fails is people can hoard the resources, and when they hoard it, now they can manipulate others. Service of self, more, hoard the resources. Me. Not that unity vibe, not that love, not that open
Mhm.
outpouring of loving energy that we're practicing within this
You'll
group of
never get
sessions.
the good results if you don't have that as a heart
No.
intent.
And you may be
Well, because
successful and you may have things in your life, but then at the soul level, you're empty. And a lot of times that's what these people are doing. They're trying to fulfill something that their soul needs, that their soul is missing. That
Yeah.
love, that feeling within their soul. They're empty. So they
Yeah.
try and fill it with purchasing. I got to buy this. If I do this, if I have sex with this
Yeah.
person, if I fill it with this, if I do this drug, if I fill this thing, fill these needs, it's going to fill that void and it never does. And then the void just gets bigger and emptier as it's being neglected further and further, and they're never healing themselves, and they just keep pouring things onto it and growing that void and growing that pain instead of just sitting with the pain and say, "Hey, man, I see you, man. I love you. Every freaking thing's gonna be okay. Let's move past this. Let's move past this cycle. Let's break this. Let's break free."
this this has to come completely from a place of love. It's the only thing it has to be from love. And anytime you try to put a price on love, on what you think you are deserve in return for that love, it's no longer love.
Yep. Now you are expectation. That is not
Right.
unconditional love. Now your love
No.
has a condition.
Condition.
I
Right.
will do
Even
this
if it's
for
not
you.
filled. Yeah.
But you have to give this to me. I need this for me to do that for you. Well,
Or
there's no condition.
even if I do it without saying you have to do it for me, but I do it and then I'm annoyed that you didn't
Yes,
financially compensate me. You've just canceled out all the love. You didn't do it out of love. You did it out of your need, not out of theirs. And love functions out of their need.
very much so. Love that. Love that. Well, I think on that note, I think that's a great way to just spread that love out. Let's ride this vibe. Let's work on that this week. if anything, I just encourage you guys to just practice as much as you can. These compassionate feelings, this love, sharing this feeling within, generating the energy within, checking in, tapping in, doing that one breath. Am I connected to heaven? Am I connected to earth? Do I have that trifecta flowing? It's an infinity loop. Infinity loops can't be broken unless they're cut, unless you break it. So it is always going to be flowing within you. You just have to tap in and check it. Remember, program. Write that script. Allow the subconscious to work for you so you don't have to worry about it. And you can focus on bigger, better things. So, awesome. I thank you all for joining. I thank anybody that's watching the replay joining in. This is always awesome. I always look forward to these sessions. I look forward to each and every one of you and our interactions. So, I'm so grateful for all of you. Again, thank you all. This was another beautiful session, and I can't wait to our next one.
Just brings life. I'd love to do it every day. It's not enough for
Well,
me.
then do it every day. You don't
Yeah.
need me to do it. You can do it every
Well, I
day.
mean, with others, I do it
Well,
with myself. It's not the same. It's very,
It
very
can
easy
be.
when it's done with others. It's very easy and very powerful.
yes,
There's a
it definitely
difference.
amplifies it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
Well,
Thank you,
Yes,
everybody.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
hey, excellent.
Right.
Take care. Bye.
Sweet
Bye.
dreams.